Hi, today I'm chatting to Mariki Jones of ArtByMariki. Not only is she an extremely talented creative, she's also a business supplier to the Howzit.ca website on the business directory, and of course a fellow South African. So Mariki, tell us a little bit about your journey to Canada.
Growing up, I lived in Cape Town in the Stellenberg area near Tiger Valley. Oh, that was my zone. I was in Eversdal Primary School and then in Stellenberg High School, and that's where I met the lovely Andrea. And yes, then I was in Oudtshoorn when I met my husband, who was a South African, who is South African, who came for a visit, and he was already living in Canada. And then he basically took me over to Canada. My poor parents had to give me away again because I traveled a lot when I was younger. And here I went off again. I promised I'll stay in South Africa now, but yeah, I was 2 years in South Africa and then I was off again. And then we lived in Regina in Saskatchewan, where the winters are long and cold, and the summers are at least nice and hot, and just short. So we moved eventually away from there 8 years ago to end up here in Victoria, BC. It's a lot more like Cape Town for me. The sea, the ocean, the wine farms, and it's more hilly mountains, and so I really like that. And the winters are just delightful because you don't have any snow. But it was nice to be in Regina in the beginning to see the amount of snow and to experience that extra and extreme cold weather. It was really a shock to to our South African system. But yes, but in the long run, when you raise kids, for me, it's really lovely to be in BC. The winters are just so much shorter, and you don't really get snow. And if you get it, it melts quickly. And the summers are just a bit cooler. So I kind of miss a little bit the hot summers of places like Alberta and I think Ontario as well.
Tell me about Art by Mariki and how it got started in Canada.
Art by Mariki came about when I still lived in Regina. Before my children, I had a friend, they have a big company, Square Flow, in Regina, and they brilliant bunch of guys, and they made me a website, and we called it Art by Mariki. But then, of course, I had two children back to back, like really back to back. They are exactly a year and 2 weeks apart, and everything fell apart. I didn't have time to even pick up a pencil, maybe just to write out a shopping note. But yes, no art happened. And then when they started to go to school, I started to dabble a little bit again. And then we had to kind of restart it. My website crashed. I mean, if you don't use it. So then I started Art by Mariki on Instagram around 2 years ago when a friend of mine opened a shop, and like a decor shop, and I could sell some of my art in there. And then I realized I have to be more accessible, so I decided Facebook is more for family and friends. So my Instagram account is more about my art. So that started 2 years ago, and then I named it Art by Mariki just because that was who I was, and it wasn't taken yet, that name, so I just stuck with it. And the spelling of Mariki is just easier for Canadians and everybody else who don't know the Afrikaans spelling of my name.
Give us a little detail and spice about what you're passionate about and what you love doing.
So I really enjoy doing oil paintings at the moment. It's challenging, and every time you paint, you learn a little bit more. And I think I'm older now. I'm more patient to wait for the drying time and to layer it. It's all about layers. And it's a really lovely medium to work with when you paint the ocean, and that's my passion right there. I love big waves, with the spray coming off of them. It's probably those days at the Mossel Bay Point where those big waves come crashing in. I used to take a million, gazillion photos of that. And I don't know. Then I have so many nice memories of the ocean and time spent in the sun at the beach. with my parents and my children. So I like to paint the kind of painting that captures a moment or a memory. Like, for example, I'm busy working on this painting we were in the Okanagan, and it was sown last year, and it was just right in the middle of the pandemic, and we haven't been anywhere, and we don't get much very hot weather here in Victoria, so it was lovely to go to the Okanagan with this fantastic hot weather. And this first evening we made a fire right there on the little beach in front of the lake house, and the kids just ran into the water, and I took that photo with my phone, and I almost kind of a little bit out of focus running in, and it was just that blissful, reckless abandonment of summer and balmy evenings. And so I want to capture that moment. And that's probably the best way I can describe my art. I like to capture a moment or a memory or a special bond between people. So if somebody asks me to do a portrait of their child or of a grandparent or somebody who's special to them, for me it's much better to paint something where people are not actually looking at the camera, but a nice... this photo happens to lie here. It's what I'm planning to do. It's my dad and my son there on a beach there in South Africa in Hartenbos. And it was a nice moment. I remember that day. So for me, to make a painting of them is better to do it that way, to capture that magic instead of the two of them smiling into the camera. So I do commissions and I enjoy them, but then it has to be something like that where I can capture something special. And then I like to do graphite sketches and charcoal. I don't often get a lot of time to work on that. It's very time consuming because I cannot let any detail slide. With oil paintings, you keep going until you create the look you want. Whereas with charcoal and graphite, I can't help myself. I'm I try to be very precise, and that takes a lot of time, and I just don't have always that much time, but I enjoy it. And then charcoal and ink works very well for my t-shirt designs. That's my other love. And it only started last year with the pandemic, and I didn't have time for big art pieces, so I sketched a few designs, Andy Warhol, the Pulp Fiction dance-off, like things that I think would be cool on a t-shirt. And it's a fun thing to sketch because you get immediate satisfaction. It's 3 hours and you have or maybe more, but then you quickly have, in one day you have a design, and then it's exciting then to go and look for the t-shirts that it will look cool on, the colors that will fit most people, or the kind of styles that will fit who. So I always have a bunch of different styles of t-shirts and colors, and that's what my ArtByMariki.ca is, my online shop. That's what that's for, mainly. For the t-shirts, and then I have a furniture business with my sister-in-law. We called Fynbos Decor, and we just like to refinish furniture because we're really into decorating and styling. Then we like to style it, and we make pin boards and chalkboards. Sometimes she paints a frame and I put a painting in the frame. So yes, those are my three big things: the furniture and the art and the t-shirts.
So more on your website, ArtByMariki.ca. Tell us more about your website and how we can get hold of you.
You can reach me on ArtByMariki on Instagram, and I always check my messages, so that's the easy way to reach me. And it's also the best way to see what I'm about and what I do. And then my online store is ArtByMariki.ca, and that's another place where you can just leave me a message or an email. I get a notification right away. And also, if people see that there's something out of stock, or I don't have a size that they're looking for, I'm open to anything. So I'm happy when people just ask me a question and see what I can do for them.
Mariki is a really talented designer. Connect with her on her website and on Instagram, and you can find her on the Howzit business directory. If you go to howzit.ca, you'll find her details there. Have a super day.